So there's three stages of a nation. It seems that when it comes to women and men, how they're treated differently. The first stage is where the men are kind of allowed to get fat. They're allowed to just blow up. They're allowed to be ugly, short, you name it. And the girls have to be virgins. They have to be young. They have to be thin. They have to be like all these requirements for them to get a man. And the men can just blow up and be whatever. And there's no kind of looks requirements of any sort. And there's a very age requirement on the woman. So that's the first kind of stage we see. Um, and then there's a second stage where the women are starting to enter the first wave of feminism, and they're starting. This is, in my opinion, like 1980s America, 1970s, 1980s America, where it's kind of the level ground of men and women when it comes to the fairness of traction on both ends, where the men can't be fat slobs anymore. And you'll get props if you're very attractive if you have a six pack. But at the same time, the low value men are still getting low value women, and there's this equal kind of exchange rate on both ends, where the women, they don't have to be teen virgins anymore, but they can be a little older and a little thicker, but you can't really be fat still, unless you want a fat guy. And then the guys, like, they can't be big pot belly. They have to be fit, but they don't have to be looks maxers. You don't have to be an autistic Tinder looks maxer to get dates. You can just be normal somewhat. Normie, this is the normie era, and this is like 70s, 80s America, and this is like 90s Peru, thousands Peru, or 90s Mexico, thousand Mexico, Colombia, all that. Because Latin America is a little behind on the United States, and the Anglo world is probably the first nations to go through this, um, like by 20 years ahead or something. And then the third stage is where the women are just fat. They're demanding. They're not virgins by one bit. And the men are becoming like the women in the first stage, where the men are having to become looks man. They have to be pretty boys, to be Ken dolls. They have to be 6 foot. They have to be 6'5". They have to be lean. They have to be all these requirements, like to just to get a bride or a partner, all these requirements, and to the point where it's like they're becoming like how the girls used to, where the girls had to get dolled up and stuff. Now the guys are getting dolled up in the third stage, and the women are like fat. A lot of them are fat and they're obese, and they have a lot of body counts, and they think they're a three, but they think they're a 10, but they're really a four. Um, that's the third stage, and so we have pretty much reversed the parts of the first stage. The normie stage is the best. This is why a lot of guys that are older sometimes comment on my videos, or I comment on other videos, and they're Gen X or they're a little older, and then it was the normie era. The normie era. My dad is from that era too. It was a normie era, and normies were fine. Like, obviously, if you were very, very short, very ugly at that time, you're probably incel. And um, but the normie area, right? And now we're in the decline stage. So will there be a reversal? I mean, who can tell? Who knows? But I just wanted to tell. There's a funny three stage theory that I see, and it's really cool when you go to some countries and they're still in the first stage, where the girls have to be young teen virgins, somewhat, and then, or small villages in these third world countries, and the guys can just after they get married, or even before, they have a belly, and they just and they have all these requirements for a wife, and the girls are just kind of stressed out on how to fit all these requirements. The complete reversal of where we are in the Anglo West. So yeah, they don't want to make it too long. Just those three stages I see. Three stages.